My name is Klaus Schuler. I'm happy to serve our club Stuttgart International as the president for the year 2015 and 16. Today we meet at the starting point of a series of impulses for leaders. Beyond giving back something at the end of a good year, for example, it is even more important to test our own business strategy. Is it really driven by an ethical purpose? When I'm working with engineers and with technical companies, my question is always, why are you doing what you are doing? And then there's, of course, one response, which you all have in mind right now already. Well, there's about money, right? Yes, it is. But is this the last purpose of your organization? Or do you just need the money to fulfill a mission? We have the pleasure tonight to have the managing director, Dr. Bernd Villauer, with us tonight, who will tell us about the roots of the Global Ethic Institute, as well as about what kind of insights we can expect from the Institute in the near future. And then we have the Humanistic Management Center as an independent think and action tank that provides through leadership learning offers and knowledge application services. Dr. Ernst von Kimakowitz is managing director, and he will share his points of view on how to make business more in line with society.
What is the basis theory of Küng, of Professor Hans Küng? He was trying to find a kind of a overlapping consensus in the different religions, where he was asking himself, how can religions be a part of a peace process and not being part of a confrontation and war process? He found out that there is an overlapping moral consensus. There are values and beliefs which can be found in every religion and every religious belief. So he put it together in the principle of humanity. Treat people not like animals or things, but like human beings. Reciprocity, the so-called golden rule in Deutschland. Also, was du nicht willst, dass man dir tut, das füge auch keinem anderen zu. Do unto others as you would have them to unto you. And 4 important values connected with these 2 principles. That's truthfulness, justice, partnership between men and women, and peacefulness. The Institute was founded to bring these thinking into economic problems. So if religions can contribute to the peace process, why not companies? Why not firms? And what are the values that are important for companies? So it's now about values. What are values? Values have a connection to prognosis. Based on certain core values, we can develop a better understanding of the future, of what lies ahead. A second area is values in behavior. How do values change the way we act with other people? These core values I mentioned, they lead to new forms of ethical awareness, new kind of behavior towards others. And the impact. I think speaking at a Rotary, speaking about the impact is essential, because you want to have impact, you want to change something. So we think at the Global Ethic Institute that these values are to be found in the heart of every sustainable model for economy and society. So if you want to have an impact, you should speak about values. You cannot just, find a road around the values. You have to face them. Okay, what is value? Let me start with a very basic, let's say, economic definition. Actual value of a company includes the aspects of business in terms of both tangible and intangible factors. And this value is not the current market value in many situations. But what are these tangible and intangible factors of tomorrow? What will we be valuing in the coming years? So investment is about the future. It's about knowing what path there will be, what values will be important in the coming years. And these are questions we ask ourselves in the Institute. Obviously, there are areas in which the new aspects of value investment become more and more important. That's first technology. You all know, especially in Stuttgart, especially in Baden-Württemberg, in the technology-driven industries here, this is very important, and you have to invent yourself every day anew. Second, interculturally. Third, human resources problems. And sustainability, we mentioned that. So these are all aspects we are doing research on and we are holding lectures on, because we think that these areas will be decisive for the future of business. If you're speaking about values, if you think about values, you're not speaking about what I'm doing right here, what I'm doing right now, but what I want to do in the future. How will I shape my own future with these values? And that is an important thing for the Global Ethic Institute. The real investment strategies, I would say, are not different roads, leading to different places, but they're interconnected path in one field. So all these values come together in a kind of a basis of values. And to see this basis helps you to create an innovative ethical model for your company. The second is a real value investment is connected with value investment in technologies and people. With smart people, without smart people, there's no smart solution. You all know in your companies that you have to help people to develop. They have to learn about the new technologies. So HR, as we say, is one of the key issues, which is also value investment. And last, value investment in profits is connected with value investment in the planet. I mentioned it, ecological sustainability is the basis of the real business cycle. This whole concept is not to be set up without a deep notion of liberties and freedom. So again, you can think about ethics like a limitation of liberties, a limitation of freedom. Yeah, I want to do this and I want to feel free, but you're not allowed to. And you can think, this is the other model, about ethics as a kind of freeing people and to see new possibilities and to see how, it makes fun to be on the right path to sustainable solutions, for example.
What I wanted to look at is a bit on driving innovation through values. What kind of innovation and where do we need innovation? I want to start with a few presuppositions, 3 of them actually. And the first one is that business actually does have the power to make the world a better place. That is something that has been contested for a while in the discourse. And I think there's growing consensus that this holds true, that business has the power to make the world a better place, and that we not only have a potent player in business, but that we need the active contribution of business to do that, because we're seeing that no actor alone will be able to solve the challenges we face as a global community. So business needs to be an active part, and the way to do that, we do think that business has the power to make the world a better place, but only, this is contingent upon defining the purpose of business as a business as serving society. And that is something where we have to depart from yesteryear's song that is that the business of business is business. If you're thinking about what this actually says, it is very much a self-absorbed and a self-centered view on the business organization. What that really says is that the business of business is to serve itself. Right? And I don't think that's a very appealing proposition to society. So we need to move towards a question of answering the question of the purpose of business as viewing it as organizations, entities that provide a service to society. And of course, as Bernd mentioned, profitability is part of sustainability. If I lose money year on year, I'm not sustainable, simple as that. But the mental framing or the shift that we need, I believe, is that we need to think of profits as a means to an end and not as the end in itself. If we define or if we look at what innovation may be, meaningful innovation has got to make the world a better place. It's got to make some kind of impact, create positive externalities. If not, we'd have difficulties with the first 2 presuppositions on innovation. So based on that, I will have a very short slides or a few slides only on each of those points. Why innovate, what innovate, and which values are conducive to generating the kind of innovation that we're looking for. The consequence to me is, as I said, that we are talking about the negative side effects of a big success story. But those negative side effects have become too grave to simply ignore them. We're not talking about questioning market economies as such. We're talking about finding smarter ways to use them. I think purpose is the core, and I find it scary sometimes how many people in leadership roles are having a hard time defining the purpose of their organization. Passion can make blind, so passion should be combined with integrity. So empathy is not about being a nice guy. Empathy is about the capacity to think about what others' needs are and to respond to those in a productive manner. Summing up, why innovate? I think we need to use markets more wisely. That is the bottom line of why we need innovation. And we're in a situation increasingly from the social as well as the environmental side that it's not a question of if we want to do that, but how and when we'll get going. And the faster we get going, the cheaper it'll be. That's as simple as that. Whether mankind's wisdom will be sufficient to get going soon or not, we'll have to see. But the bottom line is it's not a question if, it's a question when. And the price tag increases every day in social costs and financial costs and environmental costs. Secondly, what innovate? I think we need to approach it with a mindset that business success is measured along a triple bottom line and not a single bottom line, and that business essentially is human interaction. And sustaining business success in this context and the civil society pressures are just demonstrating that sustaining business success depends on a value proposition to society at large. And if we're looking what values are conducive to innovation, then we've got the two pairings of purpose and legitimacy, passion and integrity, and empathy.